phone up, I spoke to Rose. She interviewed me. It was like the biggest breath of fresh air ever. The goal, like you were fighting every day for the ingredients. And I'm not exaggerating, like I've never felt it stronger since, actually, ever. I've taken it as close as I can, but you have to charge for that as well, by the way. It's
an expensive restaurant.
It is, but my God, I was there for my 19th wedding anniversary just last week. Still so good. There were these two women that weren't chefs running a high-level kitchen with this obsession for ingredients. Not only sourcing single estate olive oil, but they would go there and they would taste days pressings and geographical days pressings to blend their own single state. And that was just oil, let alone vinegar. I mean, don't even get me on vinegar. And then the fishmonger, and then the little kind of like rogue grower that would do cima de rape and chicorias and radicchios. Like, it was just nothing like that going on. So, and what was beautiful about the kitchen is it was 50-50 men and women, which is the holy grail, right? And there was also there was no structure really. There wasn't really a fit. There was a head chef in Theo Randall, who I love. There wasn't a pastry chef or a pasta chef or a fish chef. Like, everyone had to do everything in a kind of common sense rotational way. How lucky was I to work there? And Jules came and worked. My wife came and worked there as well. She was a waitress.
That's how you met.
Well, we met back at school,
but
she used to work at Maxwell's when I was at the Neal Street, which was like a kind of American-style restaurant that would be quite late opening in Hampstead. Then when I moved to the River Cafe, she came as well.
So that it was at River Cafe where your media career began. So how was that?
By complete luck, actually. Christmas at the River Cafe was being shot. They'd be filming everywhere. So for me personally, there was one Saturday night we got off. Me and Jules had a night off. The phone rang about 5 o'clock and said someone hasn't turned up. 1, 2, and can you come and do a section? Absolutely, I had to go and do it. I was brought up to do that. So anyway, I went and did the shift. I was catching up because I would have been there 2 hours before, and there's a bloody crew in the way, asking lots of annoying questions. I was making the rotolos that night, and I was doing beautiful little Girol tagliatelles and little frito mistos, and I had some slow cooked pork. So I had like an array of things that were quite quick to serve and quite, what are you doing? Oh, you get some garlic, some thyme, some Girols in a pan, a little bit of tagliatelle, a bit of cooking water, tiny bit of parmesan, right now on a plate and off to Theo, and now obviously I didn't know then, but now that's like an editor's dream, like, because you've just told a story in 10 seconds. So I got bolted into this show, and then it all changed, and actually it was a guy called Stephen Serby, who was a developer, that called me. The manager was a bit of a funny man. He actually ended up doing a best man speech and became a comedy writer for Alan Carr and Johnny Vaughan. But he was a funny guy, and he phoned up one morning, having seen the programme, and pretended to be the BBC internally. And then he started laughing. I knew it was him, so I obviously exchanged some colourful language. But then what was the interesting thing was when people like Stephen Serby did phone up, and they phoned up in the middle of service, and no one does that, I thought it was Giles again. So I said terrible things to Stephen Serby. I told him to do terrible things with things to himself. Because I just thought he was taking the mickey, and that it wasn't until there was this sort of slightly scared, stuttering man going, no, we were just wondering if we could do a pilot, or maybe, get that to a commissioner. And I then realised that I'd done this massive faux pas and abused this man from an industry that I didn't know, but yeah.
Italian food, Gennaro, the inspiration for one of the biggest and now most notorious bastions of the Jamie Empire, Jamie's Italian. The restaurant chain collapsed in May. Around 1,000 people lost their jobs. Reportedly, Jamie put in more than £25 million of his own money to try to save it, but he couldn't. It's the subject of a documentary airing at the end of the month on Channel 4.
You've just been, through the grinder with your restaurant stuff, and
yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that your main sort of instinct is to go, just leave me alone right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always quite open, really.
Yeah.
I feel, and have always felt since day one, a massive sort of sense of that the public are my boss. With the restaurants in the UK collapsing, it's many tales of many emotions, and probably fair to say the very best of it and the worst of it.